What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more Pablo Gargano from 1996, meaning we're back with some absolute acid trance class. We're listening to Eve 9. The tune is Trance in Saigon. And, you might be curious, does this have some sort of, Southeast Asian musical influence? Does it relate to perhaps Pablo and his personal journey to Saigon? No, it uses the line from Apocalypse Now that I'm still in Saigon. Which is funny because when I first heard this, I heard it as like part of a mixtape, I want to say, meaning I didn't hear the beginning, and that's where I think the only place where you actually hear the sample. So yeah, for a while it's one of those things where I didn't even have that little clue, and the reason that's relevant is because this is on Eve, and as I've mentioned before, during its classic run, and even though I completely understand the ethos behind it, Eve did not include, for the most of the releases, artist or track names on the track or on the record. There's a couple exceptions. There's a couple David Craig releases where it actually does say David Craig, which again, I think that's basically Pablo, had the idea that like, this isn't about me, this is just about the music, which again, I respect, though as a DJ it was always frustrating. But I think when it came to releasing a tune by a friend of his, it was more like, let's get you the credit you deserve for putting out a good tune and so on. So yeah, that's just my hypothesis. But yeah, this is another record where it doesn't say anything about the artist or the track names. But thanks to Discogs over the years, I mean, some other places I found out some of these tunes were Pablo Gargano. There was another trance mixtape I had that it was called Eve 17, and then I remember, that's what they listed the track name, Eve 17. Now it is a track on Eve Records number 17, but that led me to some online place where it was said like, oh, it's Pablo Gargano, but that's all it said, just the name Pablo Gargano. So again, it was sort of like a sleuthing process in the early 2000s, figuring out what all these tracks were called and who was making them, but now we know. So let's listen to it. This is Pablo Gargano, Trance in Saigon from 1996 on Eve Records number 9. Still in Saigon. That melodic layer, sort of like carrier of the track. And also that very tightly wound layer. The kick drum. chirps, and then this main super bright line. But it's, you know, it's peaking and then receding. It's like he's twisting the line inside out. Grittier, a bit edgier, and also that oscillating synth in conjunction with that harder layer. Just all the little details. Flaws. It's one of those things where, like, I do like some Pablo tunes better than others. I like this one a lot, but even when it comes to more melodic, like uplifting Pablo tracks, I think there are some better ones. But even then, it's like there's literally not an element, there's not a moment in terms of the progression or structure where I'm not a fan, or where I'm like, you know, maybe that could be different. And again, there are like tracks by a lot of artists that I like a great deal, where there might be one layer, one element, or one like sequence where it's like, you know, like it's cool, it's fine, maybe, you know, I would have preferred it like a little differently, which I get it. Like as an artist, you know, they're not all that together, or not all that concerned with, you know, the individual preferences of DJs. They're making their own art and they're putting it out, and if people like it, you know, they're gonna buy it. So yeah, it's just one of those things where he's one of the artists where, like, I really, as I listen to his tunes during like his, you know, real prominent phase, which again I'd say is like 95 to like 99 is like his real sort of like golden period, if you will. During that period, it's like he makes tracks and there's not a single element that I'm not fond of, even if again overall some tunes stand out to me more than others. So yeah, top track, again, I like the sort of emotional weight of those moments where it kind of like shifts upward, and then out of that, you know, would emerge the super bright acid line. Yeah, it's funny to like give it a title based on a line from a film like Apocalypse Now, when in many ways, you know, it doesn't feel like the sort of emotional atmosphere of that movie. But in any case, it's a top Pablo tune from, you know, his sort of classic period. Let me know what you think of that one. I'll see you next time. Peace.